We love our series, Changing the Game. It highlights extraordinary women who are making a difference. And at just 8 years old, not 18, Maya Penn started her clothing and accessory company. It's called Maya's Ideas, and it uses eco-friendly materials. She gave a TED Talk for the first time when she was just 13. At 16, her book, You Got This, was published by Simon & Schuster, a proud part of our parent company. And Maya Penn joins us now. Maya, thank you very much for being here. That's a lot to have done by the age of 23. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, where to even begin? How has this company, Maya's Ideas, evolved since you were 8?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be here. I started Maya's Ideas when I was 8 years old because I've always been very passionate about the natural world and environmental science. I grew up a very, very nerdy kid, but also a very artsy one. I loved all things art and design, including fashion design. And I was doing my own research and realized that there was a need for more sustainable fashion in the world. And so, since I started that company, it's evolved into a global sustainable fashion brand with celebrity clientele. And now I'm also a sustainability consultant as well. So I consult with Fortune 500 companies, startups, and everything in between on ESG, corporate social responsibility, and just, how we can make a more sustainable and, equitable world.
What does ESG stand for?
Environmental social governance.
Okay.
Yes.
It's one thing to describe yourself as nerdy growing up or to be a creative. It's another thing to have people in your family that will lean into that.
Yeah.
And your mom is here with you today.
Yes.
And I would like to ask how she has inspired you, but what has her support meant to you while you have been on this journey?
I mean, it's meant the world to me because, not every parent, when their 8-year-old kid comes up to them and is like, oh, I want to start an eco-friendly fashion company. Not every parent's going to be like, okay, sure. Like, what do you need to do to figure that out and find out how to do that? I'm really grateful and feel very blessed that my parents are, equally, very passionate about giving back and about sustainability. My mom, when she was young, her mom, my grandmother, they planted an organic garden together, and she's, they've always been, environmental stewards, and so I had those same experiences growing up. And then my dad, when he was a teenager, he was creating solar energy projects.
Oh wow!
And getting for science fairs and getting awards from NASA for them.
So they're,
it made sense that I would then have that passion and run with it.
Maya, quickly, because we're almost out of time, there's so many climate events going on here in New York City this week. You're taking part. What is your view on your generation, identifying as the last one that can really create change?
Yes, I mean, Generation Z is so outspoken because we do have this this feeling. I'm really passionate about intergenerational collaboration. I think everyone has something amazing to bring to the table in this fight. I was just a part of the huge climate march that happened, starting this week, and 75,000 people showed up. And I think that we're, on the cusp of seeing that this is an issue that affects everyone, and that everyone's voice matters, and that you belong in this space.
That's right. You say your generation is the last one with a real shot to turn things around, and you are leading the way. Maya Penn, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much
we
for
do
having
really
me.
appreciate it. It's because of work that you're doing for that next generation that your next generation, which
There we go. Full circle.
is going to have a big, beautiful world to live in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maya, for all that you're doing.
Our series, Changing the Game, highlights extraordinary women with game-changing ideas. This morning, we are introducing you to Lauren Bercier. She is the co-founder and CEO of Something Borrowed Blooms. In 2015, Bercier teamed up with her co-founder and cousin, Lake & Swan, to change the wedding flower industry. How? They provide premium silk wedding florals that can be rented for the big day. This could save couples up to 70% compared with the cost of fresh flowers. So far, they have been a part of 25,000 weddings in the U.S. and Canada. Lauren Bercier joins us now. Lauren, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Welcome.
So excited. Thank you.
Look at all these flowers. They're gorgeous. What I love about the motto for your company is own the memories, rent the flowers.
That's right.
And you were inspired to start this from your own wedding.
That's right. Honestly, after my own wedding day, I walked away with some buyer's remorse. I realized that I had spent thousands of dollars on these flowers that honestly, when they showed up on the wedding day, I was less than impressed with what I received. And spending so much money on flowers that I literally held in my hands for a few hours, and then at the end of the night, they ended up in the trash. It made me think there had to be a better way.
So how does the company work exactly?
Yes, so we offer over 19 collections of floral designs to choose from. Each collection has everything you need for your wedding day. So bridal bouquets, bridesmaids bouquets, centerpieces. We even have dog collars if you want to include your furry friends.
Yes.
And we also have a full line of decor, and you can rent all the items you need for your wedding day, saving over 70% compared to fresh flowers.
So it's soup to nuts. I'm really glad, Lauren, that you included the dogs, but you got the idea how? So you're sitting around, you're frustrated, you have buyer's remorse, and
Yes.
you and Lakin thought what?
You know, it was also, we were really inspired by Rent the Runway. Rent the Runway was getting a lot of attention at that time, and we thought it was such a, great concept to be able to rent high-ticket items for the weekend of the wedding. And so we decided to use that concept and apply it to the wedding flower industry. And so renting wedding flowers was just the natural solution.
Sure, it makes sense. I mean, you're spending so much money on one day, one night. I recently got married, and so I know it well. I know it well. We were saying it's almost like not real money because you're spending so much of it at some point.
I know. I think we feel really good about being able to offer couples this solution where, like you're saying, everything is so expensive for their wedding day. So if they can find...
Give us an idea of the cost. It's this to this. What is it?
Yes. So an average wedding flower order with something borrowed blooms costs only $500. Now, that can really, change depending on what you order.
Is that more than a little bud vase?
Oh, yeah. It's more than a little bud vase. That'll get you product for your entire wedding party and some centerpieces. But compare that to the national average of $3,000. That's huge savings for couples. So, you can save that money and spend it on something else that's more meaningful to you, or just save it in the bank.
Well, I don't want to be a womp here, Lauren, because I think what you're doing is really fantastic.
Thank you.
Great idea. But people would say, but silk flowers don't look the same, and they don't smell the same. To that, you say what?
I beg to differ.
Okay.
We spend a lot of time sourcing every single flower that we use in our collections to make sure that they are the highest quality, that the color is perfect, the size is on point, to make sure that we're offering really beautiful and on-trend flowers. We also have an amazing team of floral designers who work for us, and they have a floral experience, so they're using fresh floral techniques to create the products that we offer. So there's no nothing there that's gone untouched. And then we also offer the flowers to be scented. So if you want, you can have your flowers packed with a beautiful, fresh floral scent. So on the day of the wedding, they arrive and they smell like the real thing, too.
And we see them right here. They look gorgeous.
I think you're the best advocate for the business. I think you want to know about the business, put Lauren on TV. So I know that you dream big or you go home.
That's right.
Did you have any floral experience yourself?
I have no floral experience. I made the very first prototype of a bouquet, and we laugh at it. It's in, the break room, and it's a joke.
That's something that... So when you dream big or go home, what's your goal? Do you have a goal?
Absolutely. Right now, our goal is to capture 10% of the U.S. wedding market share. I say this all the time, but if you lined up 10 brides in this room today and gave them all the option to rent their wedding flowers, I guarantee you one of them would say yes.
I guarantee it would be more than one. Don't you, Nancy?
I do, especially...
It's beautifully done.
You know what, Gayle? Thank you. We're in New York City. I need to dream bigger now that I'm here.
No. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I don't have a husband yet, but now I know. Why are you laughing, Cloud? But if the day ever happens, I'm going to save your number. Now, I like your outfit for today. Did you choose that on purpose?
Why, of course.
Why, of course.
Very much on theme.
On blooms.
Yes. Congratulations, Lauren.
Thank you.
And Lauren came. You saw she came with a team. Her husband, her two sons, Cohen and Lawson, and her mom is here too.
They're
I
all
like how
here
you
from
guys travel.
Gang.
Turning now to our series, Changing the Game. It's where we highlight extraordinary women making a difference now and for future generations. This morning, we're introducing you to author and entrepreneur. Her name is Naomi Winston. At 19 years old, she started an educational coloring book company. It's called the Creative Representation Empire. I like that. Now, the goal is to inspire Black and brown kids to love the way they look. Winston has published, listen to this number, 14 books total, including a dozen coloring books. I love to color. And she has worked with educators in 6 states to get them into the schools. She wrote her first book after noticing that her younger cousin's fear of colorism or discrimination against someone who has darker skin within their own racial or ethnic community. Yep, it is still a problem today. We're very happy to say that Naomi Winston joins us in what we call the living room. Hello.
Welcome. Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So let's talk about your little cousin. Tell us exactly what happened. How old were you? How old was she?
Yeah, so I was just starting my sophomore year of college at Xavier University of Louisiana, go HBCUs.
Okay.
And I was taking her to the park because she had missed me so much. And when I finally pulled up to the park, she didn't want to get out the car. And, I was trying to gentle parent. I was like, baby, why don't you want to get out the car? And she said, I don't want to get too dark. And it was towards the end of summer, and
How old was she then?
she was around 7 then.
7, and she was aware at 7.
That shocked
Yes.
you, huh?
Yeah.
It shocked me, but it also brought back so many of my own feelings of inadequacy about my skin color that I didn't outgrow until I was 18 and at my HBCU. And I knew at that moment that I didn't want that for her. I didn't want her to wait 11 years to feel like she belonged in a space.
And so what did you decide to do? What was
So-
your thinking? Yeah.
So that happened in September of 2019. I published my first coloring book, Black Women Are the Future, in November of 2019 with no graphic design experience and curating images from hundreds of women.
Because you
across
do
my-
the illustrations.
I do all the
And
illustrations.
no graphic experience.
No, I actually hand drew the first 20 pages of the coloring book and learned how to use an iPad afterwards.
And what's your message here, Naomi? What do you want people to get out of reading your books?
You know, it's conveniently on my jacket, which is everything has a purpose and you are everything. And a big piece for me is helping Black and brown kids find a sense of belonging, because I always say I don't create coloring books, I create opportunities to be seen and to see others. Because I like to say that we create portals of representation for Black and brown kids, but also portals of understanding for those not a part of those communities in order to learn more about other cultures and educate themselves.
And usually you'll see coloring books, they're filled with cartoon characters or fictional ones. You use real people.
Yes.
And you do that intentionally.
Yes.
Why?
I always say that I didn't want kids to look up to characters. I wanted them to know that these are real people who have gone through these similar experiences that can relate to what they're feeling. And it's a community. It's about creating communities through coloring books.
Can I ask you about something that you said? You didn't want your little cousin to feel the way that you felt when you were younger. Tell me about your experiences and why you felt it was so important that the next generation not be in the same mindset that you were in.
Of course. I grew up in a small town called Thibodaux, about an hour southeast of New Orleans, so deep south. And I remember coming home from summer camp and someone commenting like, oh, you got really dark. You shouldn't go outside for the rest of the summer.
This was somebody Black.
This was somebody Black. It was someone
That's
like...
what's so interesting about
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
in
I'm
your
just
own
like-
community. Yeah.
And it really made me realize, seeing her and seeing how much that affected me long term, even years later. And it was my decision to be like, this stops with me. And it's not just about my little cousin. It's about all the kids her age, all the people our ages who haven't had books that look like them. And so it was my dedication to center myself in being able to help communities tell their stories and represent kids growing up in this society.
And now your dream would be to get this in schools all around the country?
Yes, my goal.
How are you doing that?
Yeah, so we do digital licensing, we do custom books. We've even done a lot of books with Native American organizations to represent their communities. So we help teachers integrate our works into their classrooms and also work with youth organizations in different communities to tell their stories as well.
So what's your pitch, Naomi, when you go to the schools and say, you know, we should work together because...
Yeah, in a day and age where they're banning a lot of books.
Yes. Well, my pitch to schools is I'm gonna help your kids get back excited into learning by these tactile, hands-on learning tools that look like them. Because there's no question that social emotional learning and DEI are growing industries in the education market, and we hope to fill both of those needs and also encourage kids to believe that they can be the change in the world that they wish to see by showing all the other people that have done that.
Yes.
You are a young businesswoman. Real quick, what advice do you give to any young people out there that just want to start something?
I always say that I am the accumulation of everyone in my life that believed that I was capable of doing something great.
Ooh.
And I also say that whatever weight that this holds, here and for now, I believe in every child that tells me what they want to do, and to help everyone to find their purpose, because there is something every one of us can do to make the world better.
This wisdom that you have. How old
I know,
are you
yeah,
now?
you're 19, right?
You were 19.
Checking.
I was like, I'm 23 now.
You're 23.
Yeah, I got 4 years
Because I'm
under my
like,
belt now.
what?
23 going on 50.
I know.
I have been told I'm old-spirited.
No,
You've
you've already got the wisdom. And did you know that everything has a purpose and you are everything?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I love your shirt.
I echo that.
Yeah, I love your shirt.
What a wonderful
Bravo,
message.
Naomi.
Bravo
Bravo.
to you. Thanks
Yes.
for coming on. This is such an important... Oh, man, I love this conversation. Thank you,
Yeah.
Naomi Winston. We appreciate you. I love this series. It's called Changing the Game, and it highlights extraordinary women making a difference. This morning, we're introducing you to Sarah Haiji, who is the CEO and co-founder of Blue Land. Blue Land specializes in eco-friendly cleaning products with the goal of eliminating single-use plastic. The products come in tablet or powder form designed to be mixed with just ordinary tap water. Yes. Sarah Paiju joins us now. Good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you so much
I was
for
just
having
showing her Celine's
me.
picture.
Oh, that's my
is
daughter
that?
Celine.
I
Yes.
know, it
Yes.
just gets better and
Well,
better.
so you were saying that back in the green room. And so with young children, even if you don't have young children, tell me why you were inspired to start this company, because you were transitioning your son to formula, your oldest son, and you were being confronted with the idea of microplastics, which we talked about here on this show.
Yeah, so that's right. When I became a new mom, I was doing research into the water that I would use to mix with this baby formula, and I was horrified to learn that there's hundreds of pieces of microplastics in our drinking water, and that's regardless of whether you drink tap water or bottled water. And that's because all this plastic that we're consuming as a society is breaking down, is entering our waterways and our oceans, and it's breaking down to these tiny pieces of plastic that are now showing back up in the water we drink, the food we eat, and the formula that I was making my newborn baby. So I decided to just, it felt like a no-brainer for me to do my part and try to completely cut out single-use plastic from my family's lives. And
I love, Sarah, that you said it felt like a no-brainer, because you know what I did? Turn on the water, put it on the formula. It never occurred to me.
you,
Yes,
right?
it never occurred to me to research the water.
To be the change you want to see in the
Yes,
world.
I know.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
and so then you thought, okay, we can change this how?
yeah, so I thought we could change this. I realized that even though I was a really well-intentioned consumer at that point, it felt impossible. Like, everything seems to come packaged in plastic.
Then did you remember Dad's words, your dad's words?
Yeah, and my
What'd he
dad's
say?
words were, he'd always ask, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is just one bite at a time. And I felt like with this, plastic pollution is a huge elephant.
Yeah.
And I guess Blue Land is my bite. I became really inspired and motivated to find a way to make it easier for everyone.
So
to
did
be
you
able to
eat
access
the trunk first? So what did you do exactly?
Yeah, so at that point, had this idea for creating these dry tablets, because most consumers don't realize that many of our everyday cleaning products, they're mostly water, up
Including
to
the stuff we put on our
90%
face
water.
and the stuff that, not just the stuff we ingest, but the stuff that we put on our face or put our food in.
Totally. So, as a consumer, then you're paying mostly for a ton of water and a new plastic bottle each time, which makes no sense.
And then we're throwing away the plastic
And then we're
bottle.
throwing away, exactly. And so we created these dry refill tablets.
Okay, so show us how it works.
Yeah, and so by making them dry, that enabled us to package it in paper instead of plastic.
Okay, all right.
And so this is an example of our hand soap. And so we offer these refillable forever bottles. You simply fill it up with warm water, which I have here, and you drop in
is so
a
smart.
tablet.
And
And that's it. No shaking or stirring required. You see, it's starting to effervesce really nicely.
And it's so simple. What I love
And
is
it makes the water safer. What's the
mean-
difference between the blue and the yellow here?
Yeah, and so those are our cleaning sprays. The yellow
Okay.
is our multi-surface cleaner, and our blue is our glass and mirror cleaner.
Got it.
But what I love about this, it's a simple idea, but
Yeah.
you launched it right before the pandemic. And did you were probably worried when the country went into lockdown, but it ended up being a boon for you. How?
Yeah, because we launched in 2019. We were a baby business, and the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh my goodness, we're toast. But it ultimately ended up being a positive thing for us.
Because we were all cleaning.
Everyone was cleaning
So true,
like
right?
crazy.
We were cleaning everything.
Like crazy.
Our
They were doing
food.
laundry
Yeah.
like crazy. So they were washing their dishes, washing their clothes, and washing their hands. We were singing songs about washing our hands.
Yeah.
And people didn't want to go into stores, and we started selling our products online at blueland.com.
And you call it Blue Land, you're wearing blue, you call it Blue Land why? It's
Yes.
more than just your favorite color.
Yes.
Yeah.
We wanted something simple and beautiful and inspirational, something that represented, the utopia and the world that we want to all live in, and restoring the health of our oceans and our planet.
Well, Sarah, bravo to you.
Bravo, that's right.
Congratulations.
Job well done. Job well done. Thank you, Sarah Paiju. Our series, Changing the Game, highlights extraordinary women breaking barriers. For Black History Month, we're featuring Black-founded businesses. So think about this, 2016, Christina Funke Tegbe launched the skincare brand. It's called 54 Thrones. Inspired by her Nigerian heritage, the brand says it features plant-based organic ingredients ethically sourced from Africa. We're very happy to say Christina Funke Tegbe is a badass. She joins us in the studio. We have to say congratulations. You're in Sephora and other big-name stores, so bravo to you. But let's get your backstory quickly. 2015, you're working as a healthcare consultant. You quit your job, a Houston, Texas girl, and you say, I'm going to Africa. Why? What were you looking for? Why'd you do it?
I needed to learn more about myself. I'm Nigerian American, first generation, but at that time, I didn't really have that connection. And so I quit my job. I had this calling to go home, and I just booked a flight, cashed out my 401k, and started traveling all around Africa.
Your dad's Nigerian, so what were you looking for?
You
didn't know your Nigerian side of the family, right?
I hadn't met my grandmother until I was late in my 20s.
Wow, okay.
You know, and I didn't meet a lot of my aunts and uncles until then, too. And so I knew that there was a connection, and I felt it. Like, I felt like I need to go to Nigeria and learn more about the culture, learn more about myself. And so I didn't have a choice. I knew I had to quit. I knew I had to do this.
And what did you see there that made you think, I'm going to start a beauty business?
So first of all, I grew up in beauty. My mother and her 8 sisters all were cosmetologists. I grew up in the hair salon, so beauty was always a big part of my life. And so when I was in Nigeria, I saw women making shea butter, selling black soap, and I just thought that was so interesting. And then from there, I started traveling to Ghana, Uganda, Morocco, Egypt, and every place I went, I would see women making argan oil or jojoba oil, and I just was like, I have to get involved with this.
Where does the name 54 Thrones come from?
So 54 Thrones honors the 54 countries of Africa.
Okay.
So you're in Sephora, you're in Nordstrom's, you got a website's popular, and yet you say that one of the challenges you still face is building brand awareness.
Absolutely.
Has appearing on CBS Mornings changed all that? I mean, tell us about that challenge.
Yeah, but, as a new brand, the biggest challenge is getting people to actually know about your brand. You can have an amazing product, be an amazing founder, but if no one knows about you, that's all that you have. It's just that. And so opportunities like this are incredible. We run Oprah's Favorite Things also, and that really helps people find out about the brand. So brand awareness is the biggest challenge. But more opportunities like this will get us out in front.
So what is a brand exactly? Skincare, moisturizer, what is it exactly?
So it's body care.
Body
we
care.
make body creams, body oils, body lotions, body butters, soaps, body washes.
And I've heard
everything
you
body.
say trade, not aid. What does that mean?
So important. So when I first started traveling around Africa, I would see women, in Ghana making shea butter, in Morocco making argan oil, and I would always say, how can I help y'all? And they would say, we don't need help, do business with us.
Ooh.
So, I made that our ethos from the very beginning, trade, not aid. Africa does not need charity, it needs fair business. Africa has the natural resources, the talent, the craftsmanship, so it's not our role to help, but to do business on equal footing. We've worked with talented artisans, cooperatives, suppliers, and we pay them fairly for their expertise. So it's not about giving, it's about valuing.
Got it. What was it like meeting your grandmother at 27?
It was an incredible,
fascinated by that.
An incredible moment. It felt like she knew me already. So that was a really important occurrence in my life that really shaped me and knowing what my purpose was.
What advice do you give to entrepreneurs out there, whether you're young or you're going to quit your job and start over?
Quit your job without a plan, Nate.
Right,
You
without
didn't
a
know
plan.
how this was going to turn
I
out.
didn't.
Yeah.
I did not know. I just knew that if I didn't bet on myself, I would always regret it. I would never forgive myself. And I saw other people doing it, so I was like, I'll figure this out. And that's what I did. I bet on myself. Advice for entrepreneurs, I would say to don't ask for advice or look for advice from someone who hasn't been where you're trying to go.
Ooh.
I think when you're starting off, you're always asking, and you know what I mean? You're asking the wrong questions to the wrong people. So I would say that, stay really laser focused on what you're trying to achieve, and just know that every brand you see is a hardworking founder that's not getting any sleep.
All right.
Behind that.
We appreciate you, Christina from K-Tech Bay. Thank you so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. Check out the brand. Make sure you do it. 54 Thrones.
Time now for our series, Changing the Game, where we highlight extraordinary women who are making a difference now and for future generations. We are kicking off Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month by introducing you to 2 businesswomen and friends. Lulu Chang and Lacey Bernard started their company Biddy Bao in 2020 after struggling to find Chinese learning books for their kids. They've now written and illustrated 15 different bilingual board books to help children and families learn Mandarin and Cantonese. They've sold more than 80,000 books and expanded their business to create toys like Hot Pot Kit to go with them. Lulu Chang and Lacey Bernard join us now. Welcome. Good morning.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So I was saying to you guys earlier that for my daughter Celine, we got her the old classics, right? Bao Bao Learns Chinese, but these board books are changing the game. What inspired you to create them?
So, as we become parents, a lot of things become crystal clear, like what we want for our kids, like how we want to nurture them. And at the same time, I was really lucky to go on a hiatus from teaching. And as years went by, it was like, oh, it's time to do something more than staying at home. And so this is how I wanted to live our traditions and our language. With my parents being all the way across the ocean, it was the only means to stay connected and have our culture and our heritage and an identity for ourselves. So I wanted to bridge like me going back to teaching, yet not full time, and the two blended together and became Bitty Bao.
And it started as a home project, right? I mean, just at home, figuring it out before you took it to the next level.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be a middle of the night hobby. Lulu, actually, that's how she got me to do this. She said, this is gonna be a no-time hobby.
A no-time hobby.
No time necessary. And my second wasn't even born yet, and it's not a no-time hobby, spoiler alert. It takes a lot of time, but it's been really, really great. Yeah, but we do it all from our home. It's definitely, from the ground up.
Well,
So
we
you
have
got
that
involved.
Should we show the text?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is the text that she sent you.
Yeah,
that,
the text message that got Lacey involved.
Yeah, exactly. So crazy thought. I want to write children's bilingual Chinese books. Totally feasible. Want to be my illustrator?
Yeah, and that's how you got involved.
Yes. Like literally that text came in at 11:30 at night. Just like, hey, checking in, is your baby
Just an
sleeping?
idea.
And I have this idea. Do you want to do it with me?
And you made it happen.
And Crazy Me was like, yes, I do.
But how about, too, how it also introduces other people to this language and the culture, because you have more options, and the more options there are out there, the more you're likely to, not just seek out what's already or what's typically available. How important has that been for you when you hear from other parents that are not part of the culture but have now been introduced because of your books?
Well, something someone else had said to us once that really resonated with me was, I want our books to be not just that other option. I want it to be another option, right? So that for all families to want to pick up because they're engaging and they're exciting and they're beautiful, and they can share about culture and language and just open up the world for themselves but also their children.
And then you have the toys to accompany them.
So many toys.
Now, how do you approach creating the art that accompanies Lulu's words and vision?
Yeah, so the art is actually all paper cuttings, like little tiny pieces of paper cut out, stacked together. When I was younger, I was really into making like little handmade cards. And so when Lulu approached me, I told her, I was like, I'm not an artist in terms of like drawing, but I can cut paper. And she's like, that's perfect, let's do it. So that's what they are.
And Lulu, you started making the wooden toys.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Our wooden toys match with our books. We just wanted to add addition to our own kids and the materials and supplies that, when you go to a shop, you look at all the food options and the toy options, and you wonder, well, we eat other foods too. Right. And we eat plenty of them.
That's true. So let me ask you, Lacey, you were raised without knowing Chinese.
Yes.
And as I was telling you guys earlier, it's really important for my wife and I to ensure that Celine, our daughter, is able to communicate with her family, with her parents, her grandparents. How does this help you reconnect with your heritage and your tradition?
Yeah, so I'm a third generation American-born Chinese. My grandparents, when they immigrated over here, they picked up English and Spanish really quickly to assimilate, and we're super proud of that fact. But unfortunately, that meant, giving up some of the language and culture, of my family's heritage. And so for me, it's really about reclaiming Chinese culture for my kids and really exposing them to, the different traditions and the wonderful things that make up their cultural cultural identity and the makeup of who they are. And so that's my hope for them, is that they'll be able to connect in a deeper way with their background and their family.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
books are
I know these are
incredible.
children's books, but they're for adults as well.
Very true.
We appreciate y'all so much.
Especially those of us trying to learn Mandarin.
Exactly.
That's right.
No doubt about it.
Really.
And go ahead and get the books, get the toys, and support, because it's an awesome cause. In our series, Changing the Game, we highlight extraordinary women who are making a difference. This morning, we have two sisters who are changing the dating experience for people with disabilities. Jacqueline and Alexa Child launched their free dating app called Dateability in 2022. It came after Jacqueline's own struggles while dealing with chronic illnesses. Alexa and Jacqueline joins us right now. How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you for having us.
All right, so in 2022, you create this app. Why did you want to create your own dating app?
Yeah, so I grew up with disabilities and chronic illnesses, and dating was really hard for me. It was something that I didn't think I would have trouble with, but I quickly learned that the world is ableist and people will discriminate against me. People would tell me that I shouldn't have biological children, or they would assume that I would be a burden, and my self-esteem went really down. I felt unlovable. I just didn't feel worthy of love. And then back in 2021, I had to make the decision with my medical team to get a feeding tube, which I still have. And I panicked. I couldn't imagine what dating would be like with a feeding tube. And I just wish there was a safe space for me to find love and meet people with similar experiences. And Alexa
And you've created
suggested.
that safe space. What's it like for you, Alexa, seeing your sister navigate this and really successfully pulling this off?
Yeah.
The two of you together.
It was hard to watch her go through these experiences, especially because she is the most beautiful person inside and out. And so it broke my heart. And I wanted to help her, as her older sister, make this safe space. You know, people with disabilities make up the largest minority in the world. And so the fact that there wasn't anything like this that existed really blew my mind. And so I wanted to be part of the solution.
So, Jacqueline, you mentioned that sort of disclosing or having the conversation about disability is what made dating hard before. How does the app fix that? How does the disclosure happen?
Yeah, so of course people who sign up are expecting the majority of our users to have a disability. But on every profile, we do have a section called Dateability Deets, and users can select the terms that describe them, like wheelchair user, immunocompromised, neurodivergent, and that presents the information in a neutral and natural way, and it really reduces people's anxiety. And people have told us that it is such a relief to just have it out there and not figure out how and when to tell.
Alexa, and listen in a minute, what's been the reaction?
It's been very positive. We didn't expect it to take off the way it has, and so that's really exciting. We've got almost 20,000 users across North America and several success stories, which is really incredible. One couple's about to move in with each other, which I know.
Oh,
I know. So it's exciting.
Is dating better for you?
You know what? Personally, you put me on the spot there, but I haven't been dating much because now I'm running my own
now you're working.
business. Exactly. But it's on my own terms, which is so nice. Like I can decide when I'm ready, when I want to give someone that time.
Okay.
Always like
Well, shoot your shot is what she's saying.
Terms. Alexa and Jacqueline, we thank you. Our series, Changing the Game, highlights extraordinary women who are game changers in their industry. We got a good one for you today. This morning, we want to introduce you to Katya Eckhart. She's founder and CEO of the sleepwear brand Adamani. Her collection caters especially to women going through those hormonal changes. Yep, if you're lucky, it happens to you. It was inspired by her own postpartum experience with night sweats. The brand uses temperature-regulating fabric with fast-drying technology. That technology got Adamani recognized as one of the winners of the 2025 Oprah Daily Menopause Awards, we call it over there. Katya Eckhart, we're glad to say, joins us now to give us the backstory. Hey, Katya, we're big fans of yours over at Oprah Daily, so I'm so glad you're here.
Such a pleasure to be here.
Let people know what was happening in your life in your bed that you said, I got to do something.
Welcome into my bedroom.
Yeah, there you go. That's where it happens.
So I had my daughter in 2019, and I was blindsided by night sweats. It was one of those things no one talked about. And all of a sudden, I was sweating through everything that I owned. and the seemingly hundreds of pairs of pajamas that were coming into the house and sweating through everything and waking up in the middle of the night and changing. And I thought there had to be a better way.
And didn't your husband say you should do something about this?
Oh yeah, he did. He's like, you have a business idea here.
Yeah.
There's no way that, like, how can nobody have addressed this by now? It
He
might
was
as well be
feeling
you.
bad for you sweating the way that you were sweating, but this is the thing, your background is finance.
Yes.
So did you know anything about fabrics, about technology?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So what made you think you could do it? How did you do it?
I just thought it had to exist. And I started calling everybody I knew and getting connected with experts and Googling through every single fabric resource I could find.
You call it a beginner's mindset.
Oh, yeah.
It's what?
It's just knowing what you don't know and being able to continue to ask the question over and over and over again until you get to the right answer and to trust your gut when you're not there yet.
Yeah.
So this all began with something that happens to everybody, to every woman at least, these hormonal changes that all women eventually go through. We've done a good job, I think, on this show about talking about the stigma around around menopause. Why do you think that that still exists?
And you want to eliminate that stigma. That's part of the reason why you're doing that.
Yes, absolutely. It's always been very important to me, even prior to starting Adamani, is the conversation around women's health. We deserve to be able to speak out loud about the things that we're going through, whether it is postpartum, whether it is perimenopause and menopause, cancer treatment. There's so much stigma around what happens to your body during that. And we deserve—
Because it happened to your mom. Your mom was
Exactly.
going through cancer treatment and was going through the same.
My mom was diagnosed with metastatic cancer three months after I started the company. And she was in Adamani the entire time. She was in Adamani even in hospice. While she was laying there, we kept changing her into Adamani. And the nurses would come in, we were at home, and they would say, wow, what is this fabric? She has no bed sores.
Yes.
No bed sores where the fabric
But you know
touched.
why there's a stigma? This is what I believe. It's because people associate you with getting old, getting dry down there. They think dry vaginas and tumbleweed. And they're thinking your life is over. That's just not true.
Absolutely not.
And that's why it's so important to have this conversation.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
You know, we see so many times that success stories are birthed out of experiences. But what did you go through when you were telling your friends and family that you wanted to quit your job and start this business?
Good question. That
This
she has no
brand?
knowledge of,
Yeah, what was their response?
My friends and family that know me use the word tenacious basically to describe me at every turn, and I don't think anybody doubted it for a second.
That's
Truly.
great.
Well, your husband believed in you.
Yes, he did.
I like that. I like that about
And my
you,
best
John.
friend Tamara
But tell
believed in me.
specifically in less than 30 seconds what makes yours different, why it's so good.
It is a natural fiber. It is knit to be compatible with your skin cells. It is moisture absorbent, moisture wicking, and it is just soothing and wonderful for the skin. And they're beautiful. They're really meant to make you feel beautiful and elegant no matter what you're going through.
It's called Adamani Y.
Adamani, Gayle.
Adamani.
Adamani, Gayle.
I don't know what that
until
means.
tomorrow in
Adamani, until
Italian,
tomorrow.
which is
Yeah.
how we hope to sleep as women.
Yes, we do.
I love that. Katya Eckhart, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Honor.
This morning, we are introducing you to Nancy Twine. She is the founder and CEO of Briogeo, a hair care brand that focuses on natural hair ingredients for all hair types. Twine founded Briogeo in 2013, inspired by childhood memories of making hair oils in masks at her home with her mom. At 29, she was the youngest Black woman to launch a product line at Sephora in 2014. Nancy Twine joins us right now. How you doing? Good morning.
Thank you. Good. Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you for being here. So you said that this brand was inspired of childhood memories, making hair products and oils with your mom. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so growing up, my mom, Black African-American female, she was a physician and a chemist.
Oh.
And with her chemistry background, we used to go to our local health food store and buy all sorts of oils and extracts and butters and bring them home and transform them into these really simple
but effective beauty products. And I loved making hair care. I just felt like the products on the market weren't serving my hair texture type. So we really, literally took matters into our own hands.
Yeah, but you had a very successful career in finance. So it's not like you started out doing hair care. You were doing very well at Goldman Sachs.
Right.
And then you switched from banking finance to this because...
Yeah, so
a personal story for
unfortunately,
you.
halfway through my career in finance, I lost my mom really suddenly. And it really changed my perspective on life. And after that, I was so determined to spend my life and my career rooted in passion. And that became my mission. I wanted to discover, what I was passionate about. And I kept thinking back to these childhood
When you were a
memories of
kid.
making these products. Yeah.
And where did the name Briogeo come from?
So it's a totally unique word. I will tell you, as an entrepreneur, trying to name your company is really hard.
I'll bet, yeah.
And so Briogeo is a unique word that really encompasses the spirit of the brand. So brio is an Italian word that means vibrant, colorful, full of life. It's what we're about. It speaks to the diversity of people that our brand serves. And then geo is a Latin word that means of earth or of nature, and that speaks to our clean ingredient methodology.
So what do your products do that others don't?
So
and did you
first of
bring
all-
some samples?
Yes. There are goodie
Asking for
bags
Vlad.
in
Yes.
the
Yes,
back
'cause
for
I really
everyone.
need it.
And we have scalp products, though.
Okay.
We have something for everyone.
But what do you guys do that others do not?
So clean products. So we have our 6-free methodology, no silicones, sulfates, parabens, none of the bad stuff. We're very mindful about what you put on your hair. It touches your skin. Also impacts the environment.
Okay.
Also for me, too, it was so important to create a product line that really unites people. So there are products for everyone. You, everyone in this room.
Yeah.
And sustainability. So much of our packaging actually leverages post-recycled resins into the bottle so that we can, really take care of our environment.
Making products for everybody is part of that desegregation process that you really lock into. What was it like when you were younger? You talked about it briefly. When you would go to the store and you would try to find products and the people on the packages didn't look like you.
Yeah, I would say that out of all the beauty categories, historically, hair care has been the category that's been most divided. Going to like your local pharmacy and seeing this beautiful aisle of product. But if you have textured hair, oftentimes it was such a
It's
small
in the back,
assortment.
yeah.
It's in the
bottom
back
shelf.
corner on the bottom.
Low lighting,
Yes.
all of that. And I said, we should have products that are part of this wide, beautiful assortment.
Right.
And that's what's really inspired that part of Briogeo.
And then you sold the company, Miss Nancy.
I did. So after 10 years, I sold the company last year to the Wella Company.
And how much did you sell it for? I forgot the price.
So it was a fair deal.
Just tell us the
number. I'm not. But the
Nancy's
cool
like,
thing-
mind your business, Gayle. Mind your business.
But you sold
Inquiring minds want to know.
But you were still involved in the company.
I'm still the founder and CEO, which is so awesome because we have this great parent company behind us now. We can do more. But I'm still at the helm.
That's an incredible
Still at the helm.
accomplishment. I know
Thank
we're joking
you.
about it, but congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And now you
Thank
want to help other entrepreneurs. Yes.
I do.
What's your best bit of advice?
Yes.
So I will tell you, the entrepreneurial journey is not easy. Persistence overcomes resistance.
There it
You've
is.
got to stay in
Love
the
it.
game.
Nancy Twine,
Nancy Twine.
congratulations. Thanks
Thank
for being
you.
here.
Love the boots
So
and
much.
the dress.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Right.
Our series, Changing the Game, highlights extraordinary women making a difference. This morning, we introduce you to Megan Joyce, founder and CEO of Dokoupil. It's a virtual assistant service for busy adults. The company says it uses artificial intelligence along with human co-pilots to, quote, check off your to-dos until they're done exactly the way you would. Love that. Megan Joyce, good morning. I love it. I don't know that I fully understand it. Can you explain this to me greater? Because I've seen, there's a Google Assistant and there are all these different things. How exactly does this work?
So Dokoupil is a personal assistant in your pocket. We work through an app on your smartphone, and you can submit any task on your to-do list. We say, give us what you dread, whether it's the customer service phone call, booking a doctor's appointment, and Dokoupil's combination of AI plus brilliant humans will get it done for you.
So is it all to-do list things that would be something in that vein? My dry cleaning has been sitting there for 2 weeks, I kid you not. can Duckbill get my dry cleaning? That's on my to-do list.
Yes, Duckbill will figure out local vendors who will work with you, pick it up, drop it off. Really anything that's on your personal to-do list that's plaguing you in your personal life, Duckbill uses AI plus humans to execute that last mile.
You were a tech executive, and you say that part of the idea, the aha moment for Duckbill came from your own life experience. How so?
That's right. So I was an executive at Uber. My life had gotten very complicated with a job that I loved and kids, a partner, a home in the mix, trying to sleep at night. And
Good luck.
Exactly. To all of us. I think so many of us can relate to this. And I was spending my days using technology to democratize access to something that was previously only really accessible to those with privilege, private rides. And I thought, surely somebody must be doing this in the personal help space. With so many of us living in households with a single working parent or dual working parents or just busy working people, we all deserve access to help. And yet it really wasn't possible before AI hit the scene. And we brought that together with the power of brilliant humans to actually execute on your to-dos effectively.
This does cost, however, somewhere between $100 and $450.
That's right.
Is there any possibility, and I know a lot of these different things cost a lot of money, or at least 3 figures, any talk of a lower cost option?
That is exactly where we're headed. My goal is to produce a product that every family in the country, and frankly, the family I grew up in, could easily afford and lean into for the help that they deserve. We believe that it shouldn't be so expensive, so stigmatized to get the help you need. Everybody deserves access.
How do you make that happen? How do you get this cost down?
So that's exactly the combination of AI plus humans that we're talking about. The technology allows us to do this at scale, affordably, in a way that you feel seen and your preferences are reflected. And then inevitably, AI reaches a point that it can't execute reliably today, making phone calls, transactions, filling out paperwork. That's where the humans come in addition to adding a bit of humanity that we all deserve in our lives to reflect all of our personal preferences and desires.
Is this, though, like the idea, with rideshare services, as there were more out there, that some of the cost went down because there were. So with this, how does the cost go down over time?
Yeah, so what we're doing right now is using this initial group of people to automate these tasks increasingly. And that allows us to bring the cost down and bring the reliability up so that at some point in the not so distant future, we will have a product that everybody can have access to at a very minimal price point.
You talk a lot about humans being in this equation, but there is concern that AI will snatch a lot of jobs away from a lot of people who could do some of these tasks.
Yeah.
What's your response to that?
At Duckbill, we believe in tech augmenting the human experience. Our whole mission is about helping real people live better lives. And the fact of the matter is, AI alone is not capable of executing on everything on your to-do list. We need humans who are working alongside AI to get this done effectively. And so I think what's so powerful about the Duckbill model is not only does it require brilliant humans working with that technology, but it also really celebrates and elevates the human experience so that our customers can focus on what gives them energy and outsource the rest, allowing tech to serve humans like I think we all deserve.
Or maybe just get sleep.
Which is
what we all
save time,
need.
and that's what you're
Yeah.
signaling here, is that this AI is designed to help save time.
Save time and energy. Like, I dread
stress.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right. That, the Surgeon General just issued an urgent report last week talking about how the stresses of modern adulthood and parenthood are an urgent public health issue. And I think we can all relate to this idea that there are things on that to-do list that we're procrastinating, don't get done, and they can impact our health, right? Delayed preventative care. They can impact our stress with our partner and any children or parents in the loop. And, I would much rather be focusing on really caring for those people, enjoying our time together, building this company that I love, rather than waiting on hold with the doctor's office or eventually hanging up because I couldn't get through during the working business hours.
They think you're a bot.
Well, Megan Joyce, thank you so much. It's really interesting.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And we'd love to have everybody. Duckbill.ai.